Saints fans, 0-2, pretty flat in this room right now, I got to say. Woody, Jake and Ari here to talk all about it. Lads, this is not how we want to start the year. The hype was there from the media, from us, from a lot of corners of the AFL universe, and we haven't quite met the expectation. How are we feeling today?
Not great. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys?
I need to do the Saints 2020 breathing exercise. You know, the pre-game breath work they're doing.
Yeah.
I think we're
Boys,
still
get into
doing
it
that.
just for a second.
Yep.
Yeah, we're struggling. Yeah, another week at the footy at the G where the pre-game it was sunny. All the highlights I've realized in the last 2 weeks have been just pre-game in the lead up.
The weather.
The weather.
The weather's been
excellent.
great.
Apart from that, to be 0-2 is a bit of a worry. I would have taken 1-1. Would have been perfectly okay going into the Giants game, but 0-2 and conceding 18 goals.
Yep.
To Melbourne. No disrespect. Melbourne were, for me, going into it, very hard to gauge because we don't know what King's up to in terms of their new game plan, in terms of the new players. They're probably the only team that's had that much sort of personnel change compared to us. So it was kind of like two teams that look very different from last time we played them in round 20, and we know what happened in that game. So in a way, I was a bit nervous because I thought, well, I don't know what to expect in this game. And to their credit, they beat us in a shootout, and I did not expect that. If you told me it was going to be a shootout before the game, I would have said, okay, well, we're winning that. But we just don't have a defense. That's all I took away from it. We do not know how to defend.
Yeah, it's tough because I've been looking at a bit of our structures and a bit of numbers, and it doesn't seem like it's fallen off a cliff. But what I think's happening is we get drawn up the field, and particularly in attacking movements, and then we're caught out on turnover severely because we've had 68 points on average on turnover through the last 2 weeks, and there's only I think Collingwood's done a little bit worse, and I think there's one other side, but West Coast has had less than us on turnover, so. I don't know, man. It doesn't seem like there's a huge amount that's changed, but I think the fact that there's been an evident change to the game, we're obviously trying to utilize parts of that in attack. Clearly, we're trying to pick up the pace, go a bit faster into forward line, and in some regards, you might say that's working. But in other regards, if we've got one or two people running forward that really should be drifting back because they're no longer in the play, suddenly we've got people out of position if we turn it over. And we haven't been turning it over severely worse than last year. But again, if we're trying to move forward at a million knots an hour and then suddenly it stops and they start going back the other way, we only need one or two players out of position for them to long bomb it past our line of defence, and then it's a run into goal and who's got it, right? So it's tough. At this point, I think defensive line needs a bit of work. There's a fair bit that needs a bit of work.
Did we go too tall? Because I know you've kind of talked about Caminiti, Dukes, and this and that. And I think I saw a comment online was well, looks like Ari might be proven right. You were calling for Dukes, I think, pre-season. Or you're pretty comfortable to have him at that full back spot. What do you take out of the 4 talls we've played?
That one specifically, that matchup, I like Hammer as a long-term prospect, but if, I always think, especially if we're in a win now mentality, which we are, right? Is anyone denying that we are? If the grand final was tomorrow, Dougal Howard, as of now, is a better player than Anthony Caminiti. Should probably be in the side.
And if the grand final was tomorrow, we'd be playing Stocker as well.
Probably, yeah. And I don't want to just start bashing Caminiti because he actually responded really well in the second half. The first half was deplorable. There's no hiding from that. But I did think he responded well. But yeah, I just think I don't know if height is necessarily the issue, because I would say individually in the back line, if you look at pretty much everyone, if we start going through the back line, and maybe we will later, Wilkie, Sinclair, Sauce, they were all performing relatively well individually.
Individually, I was going to say.
As a collective, I don't know what's going on with the system. It just seems to be shutting down. And to be honest, I do think that first half, like they had 19 marks inside 50. We did actually have 20, so we're doing something right. But 19 marks, like we should not be conceding that, especially with Wilkie and Silvani back there. So I thought Caminiti in that first half especially, it was just late to the contest. How many times was Van Ruin taking the mark and Caminiti's trailing 2 or 3 steps behind him? You know, again, I don't want to hate him. He's a young player and he did respond really well in the second half. But yeah, that was just so disappointing to
even
see.
Wilkie, though, there were a few times where like he let his opponent run and jump,
Yeah.
and he stayed on the ground waiting for a punch or the ball to come to ground like he was roving it, but he just let his man jump.
Well,
And I got to add to
can-
that, his opponent was Ed Langdon.
Like
yeah,
what?
I want to
How is
mention
Wilkie?
why that's
Yeah.
happening, right?
Yeah.
Because we've got 4 key defenders at the moment. They only played 2 key forwards yesterday,
Well-
so that means Wilkie has been given the third tall role, but he's playing against a small forward. If the small forward's not going to fly, he's got to stay on ground to be on his man. In situations where Jai Cully, took a mark at 45 out or whatever, that's really hard for him to read, for one, because he's expecting his man to stay down. His man flies, so he doesn't, right? Like it takes a second to be late on that and not ready to do it. It's difficult, man, because I think you guys are right. I think as a general, everybody's mostly doing their job, and it's as a unit, as a cohesive structure, it doesn't seem to be working great.
No,
I'd push back a little bit on Caminiti just because he's our best in terms of defense per disposal per turnover in the whole team. And I don't know if Howard would have done significantly better yesterday because 3 of the goals that Van
were they
Rooyen
all
kicked,
set shots, weren't they? All
well, they
6?
were all set shots, and 3 of them were marks taken on lead. And like Howard's not a bad defender, don't get me wrong, but he's not faster than Caminiti. He won't be able to make that distance up on
But
Van Rooyen.
it's interesting, like, we saw it in the documentary where Ross was talking to Hammer about body and how to put a bloke kind of off balance. You don't have to put too much weight into it. And we saw that. They posted it online. That was on the doc. It was great. And you kind of think, well, this is the perfect. Van Rooyen is inexperienced still. He's been in the system as long as Caminiti. He hasn't really kicked a bag. He hasn't announced himself. This is the perfect matchup for Hammer to hone in on that craft. And you'd have to say, if that was an exam, that's an F.
Yeah, that
It's an
first
F.
half, absolutely.
Yeah, the second half conceded 1.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that was individual or Melbourne
Yeah.
looked for other options. I'm not sure because when you're hot, and then you kind of just like, you very rarely stay hot for a 4-quarter game. It's bursts.
And I got to say, I think part of the issue, again, there's a lot going wrong in that back line, would be after, he's kicked 4 goals, Van Rooyen. Then the Wilkies and the Sauces are thinking, okay, they're starting to having to cover for Caminiti as well. Maybe they're not intentionally doing that or they haven't been told to do that, but just mentally they're thinking, okay, well, we've just watched Van Rooyen kick 3 or 4 goals, and then that's when the structure really starts to fall apart.
Yeah.
That was my personal read on it. Again, I don't want to bash Caminiti. I don't even really think he should be dropped, to be honest. I think you give him another chance. But yeah, that's sort of like my takeaway from the back line.
Isn't it a worry, though, that our 2 captains play in that area? And that's the worst area on the ground this season.
Yeah.
Our 2 leaders. play
Should we
there.
be giving people like sprays or not? Because like the last 2 weeks, I've been a little disappointed with one of our leaders back there.
Which
And
one?
I'm not Sinclair, to be honest.
Really?
That moment where Schultz got a tackle last week, Sinclair put out the most on Darcy Wilson running out of defence. Sinclair put out the most nothing like Shepherd at all. It was an arm that Schultz just ran past. And likewise with Pickett, and like we could have had somebody else on the goal line, but Sinclair's back there doing nothing. Like he's standing in no man's land. He's not on nobody's on the line, to be fair. But that's gone through at chest height, and he's not manning anybody. Like,
Are we just asking him to do everything though? Because he's polled coaches' votes in both games. He was our best player last week.
Statistically, absolutely.
And then he's probably our best skilled player in the team as well, using the ball. We're asking for him to do all the ball movement going forward and be an offensive weapon for us, and then get back defend as well. Like he can't do it all. Like I just feel like of all the players for us to talk about,
tell someone.
yeah,
to get
there
on the
needs to be as we've mentioned, we've got 2 captains back there.
Communicate.
One
voice.
of them needs to be able to do this.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I'm singling out Sinclair because I think he can do better than that, right? Like genuinely, I wouldn't expect those sort of attitudes or behaviors out of Sinclair. And maybe it is he's tired. He's doing more as as a captain, getting further up the ground, less man-on-man stuff because he's got a bit more license with Naz out of there. I get there's a few reasons that this could be happening, but I'm just saying I'm noticing a little bit of a trend that I'm not enjoying. And it kind of comes back to a thing I even said last week. I think we have too many halfback flankers that attack, and nobody really, as a small defender. If it was me, I'd be bringing in Stocker and Liam O'Connell. Didn't get Lincoln this time, but I'd be bringing both in next week.
O'Connell isn't available.
We just don't have that many lockdowns at the moment. Like at our best, we had sort of Dukes, Wilkie doing that. Then we had Jimmy. And I feel like that's a bigger loss than a lot of people think, having that sort of perfect small defender and then Stocker. That's almost 4 lockdowns, just pure hard-nosed defenders. And even like in the last couple of weeks, Wilkie's getting up the ground. He's getting handball receives. He doesn't need to be doing that. He just doesn't need to be doing that. He's a great kick of the footy, but he's doing stuff that Naz was doing last season. Yeah. And I just think...
Here's another thing. I've noticed Naz's... Obviously, he's playing more forward, but our meters gained and assisted meters gained, which equals a net meters gained, he's halved since last year. He was sitting at 970 odd on average between meters gained and meters gained after he's passed it to a teammate. This year, he's sitting below 460.
Well, that's because he's closer to goal, so he's just taking shots. So that's he's not kicking it between the arcs, and he's getting it. He's probably averaging 10 less possessions per game at the moment.
Yeah. So I guess my question,
very small sample size though, Woody.
Yeah,
2 games.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But my question to you guys is, do we want Naz, where he's been to start the season, kind of roaming, a lot more time up forward, or would we want what we were getting last year?
I'd absolutely want. I mean, the last 10 weeks, you'd want that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd want 30 and 2 every week. That's what he was doing.
Basically, yeah.
Now he's probably at his best now. If we just do what we're doing, there'll be games where he probably gets 20 and 4, not 30 and 2.
I would prefer the 30 and 2.
Yeah,
because I think his scoreboard impact when he's able to get it to players inside 50 is better than him just sitting there by himself.
Well, let's just go to that because that's obviously a big talking point.
Yeah.
When he kicked that goal, I was sitting in that pocket. He snapped it. Yep. I'm like, great, it's 2 goals of difference. There's a bit of momentum. And then he starts running off, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What are we doing here?
One of the most baffling decisions I've ever seen us have. I do not understand. Do we not remember what happened last time we played the Ds? Seriously.
They'd be shitting their pants.
If he needs a rest, that's totally fine. He's playing out of the goal square. He's playing, he didn't need one anyway. But I'm saying even if he did, he's in the goal square. He doesn't need a rest. As soon as he came back on as well, he takes a mark over 2 blokes and kicks a goal, gets us back in it. The most dominant patch we had in that last quarter was the 8 minutes when he was off, and we had no one to kick it to because Sharman was dropping everything. Jack Higgins was trying to be a rock star.
And Ryan was off.
And Ryan's off.
Yeah.
I cannot understand how that's possibly come to be. And Ross...
And TDK was off too for a large portion.
Ross sort of deflected the question in his presser, but the fans want to know, why is our best player going off when the game's up for grabs?
And if he saw, I'd rather just know. Just say he's carrying something, we're managing it, he can play, but he's just affected.
Yeah.
TDK, the news came out today, he was battling a flu. Yeah. And he didn't want it to be leaked because he didn't want it to come out as sort of an excuse for his performance, even though I thought he actually battled hard for 3 quarters until the last when Gorn got the better of him.
And as well, Naz's tag was cramping. He was struggling to go with him.
It was a young kid, wasn't it?
It was like, I think Tholstrup is his name.
Yeah.
Young kid, whatever. Take advantage of that. Leave him on the ground.
Send him to half back so this kid that's cramping has to chase him from one end of the field to the other. I think that'd help us out a lot more than sitting him at full
forward. Put him on the wing where he can choose. Like, just put even Naz on the wing would be great because it's close to either end. He can just pick and choose where he wants to be. But that's another question. Ross saying, we kind of just spoke to Naz and it's very much what he wants to do. And it's like, okay, are we really just letting Naz choose everything here? Or can we actually coach our stars, or are we just going to absolutely let him do everything he wants to do?
I'm okay for Naz to make the decision if he because the coaches aren't on the ground understanding what's going on with his opponent. If Naz is having one bloke follow him everywhere, and he thinks I can exploit this bloke best in the
then he'll know.
In the back line, whatever, forward line, he can make the decision. I'm fine with that. But I mean, when he ran to the bench, he should have just been told no, go back on. Like that. If that was his decision, which I don't think it was, it looks like he was pissed that he was coming off. Yeah, that I would
If
come
that's-
close to saying that cost us the game. Just that
100%. I
decision.
think in the last 2 weeks, as much as we can look at all these individual errors and mistakes, like we'll talk about the drop marks too, because I'm struggling to think of a game where we've dropped that many simple chess marks. Not even just contested marks. It's just literal 15-meter passes. Like the Shaman one from Hall, perfect kick. I'm like, this is great. Drops it. Even Steele's goal, Taru comes in, chess mark, just somehow comes out, like bobbles out of his arms, and he kicks
even
the
Maxi
goal.
Hall by himself running towards the boundary line just bounces straight off his chest and it's a throw in. And it's
Yeah.
just like simple marks that were just getting dropped. And you're sitting there going like, all right, boys, like this happens, but like don't let it keep happening. And that's the problem. Like we didn't have that moment of bad, stop, calm down, back to playing good footy. Like that never eventuated.
I think we've lost the last 2 weeks more on coaching than anything. And I'm curious, like, how much Ross is implanting this game plan. Are we balancing Corey Enright's ideas as well? What's the split?
Yeah. Before we continue that conversation, if we're going to mention Max Hall's name, we have to just say that he had an unbelievable game.
He did.
It was, if someone was going to win us the game, it was him or Naz, and Max Hall almost did. Both the last 2 goals we kicked were Naz and Max Hall. Max Hall had 13 score involvements, and I just got to say, I was listening to First Crack last night, David King. I completely agree with him. Put Max Hall in the midfield.
Yep.
Put him in the midfield. He had I think it was 2 centre bounce attendances yesterday. I might, correct me if I'm wrong, but
I'll check.
That's ridiculous. He is unbelievable in the midfield.
And
he needs to be in there.
he's
Another thing King said, which I also agree with, is he's probably our second best player right now.
Yep.
Like, is anyone in this room going to deny that?
Apart from, like, there was some good Melbourne players yesterday, but he was
No,
almost...
I'm saying no for us.
Oh,
He's our
absolutely.
second best player.
Yeah.
Maybe you give it to Sinclair.
Damage
maybe.
per disposal. We even said it last year, and he's backed it up again. It's just damage. He is pure max damage.
The way he
definitely
kicks it
does.
inside 50 is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think he set up 3 or 4 direct marks inside 50.
Yep.
And it would have been more if a few blokes didn't drop a few easy ones.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how many CBAs he got.
I reckon it was low. And last week as well, it was low. Like, I just don't want this bloke, not that he's wasting away, but the same conversation we had, it was 2. The same conversation we had with Naz at half back last year. It was about putting Naz in the midfield. He was stuck at half back. I feel like we're going to have the same dilemma with Max Hall all year, where he's stuck at half forward, and we're all saying put him in the midfield, and eventually they'll make the move, and that's when he's going to really start to dominate.
Now, I tried to get Jake's attention there for a moment. Apologies for stopping this, everybody. Jakey, can you tell me how many McRae got in terms of centre bounce attendances?
Good question.
Because he had about
was,
50% time on ground, 55, 6, something like that.
Yeah.
And I want to highlight it.
23. Okay.
So 23%.
23 disposals, and he had 14 CBAs.
Okay.
Wow.
So
For two clearances.
So I wanted to highlight him because right now he is like one of our biggest turnover people. And like we just mentioned scores from turnover, right? Like, I mean, I was personally a bit harsh on Darcy Wilson last week for his 8 or 9 turnovers or whatever it was. But he came back this week and had 1. So, good enough, right? But we've consistently seen some problems from some senior heads, unfortunately bringing up specific names with McRae and Bradley Hill, both having 5 turnovers over the last 2 weeks on average. And like if you're getting 56, specifically McRae, if you're getting 56% game time, you're getting 2 centre clearances from 14 attendances, and you're turning it over as much or more than anybody else in our side per disposal. I just don't understand what you're doing in the team. I'm going to be real. Like, and I don't mean that as a mean thing, but like, why are we playing a guy as pretty much the sub when we already know that we have flexibility issues defensively because we've got 4 tall there. We don't have enough tall forwards. So, I mean, I don't know what's happened to Taru or even Caminiti swinging forward because neither of that's happened.
We didn't do that once yesterday.
No, I got to say, I thought Taru was strong defensively in the last. I wouldn't have wanted him moved. I'm sorry, Woody, going with you.
No, that's fine. Yeah. And look, that's fair. I mean, Taru is going to need to be developed across the ground, whether that's forward or back. Continuity is a good thing. But at the same time, if we're just not taking advantage of matchups, which we weren't yesterday, it be that forward or back, like I don't understand why we just rolled the same thing quarter over quarter. Because for me, I've already mentioned I would prefer to see a few more small defenders in our side than we have midfielders, and I would personally, and I'd be giving Taru that 50-60% game time. I don't think he's giving enough defensively to put 4 talls back there. I just think it breaks our structure, and I would honestly be spending, considering we need him, more time as a forward. And I know it's frustrating, but we're not getting enough out of Keeler. We're not going to get enough out of Dodson. And we don't
Sharman
have
hasn't
anybody
gone
else
up.
really bar Marshall until he
Keeler's
returns.
just out of the side this week anyway,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
irrelevant.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
Well,
don't give
that's
away
it.
the video, man.
Well, Marshall's back.
Marshall's
so
back,
yeah,
Keeler's out.
That's the only
there.
reason why he's playing. But
Yeah.
is that just us? Have we stuffed it in the off season where we just didn't look for a proper backup for King, like a genuine key forward?
Nah, I don't think so. I think this is why
'Cause-
we keep Marshall, and we've only,
But
people.
is Marshall?
I do believe Marshall
You
can
think he can do
perform as
that?
a forward. 25 to 30 goals this year. People are going to be quick to write off because it didn't look great in opening round. He played 3 quarters. It's going to be all right. Like, and the entries were diabolical. The 3 quarters he was out there.
Yeah, he probably would have done better actually yesterday. How open
Yeah.
it was, but
Yeah.
We could have used it all.
A shout out, quick shout. I thought Hugo Garcia was actually pretty good in parts of the game.
Yeah.
I thought he actually took the game on, and some of his clearance work. I think he's getting that little confidence where he gets that shimmy and then runs through he's one of the only players we've got that will run through the center circle and go forward.
It's basically just him and Naz and Hall.
Yeah,
those 3
it's
are
just
the only
those
ones.
3. The others, everyone else goes wide or backwards or tries to be too cute. He's just ultra direct and.
They're the ones that run forward as well. They're not like get the
Yeah.
ball, kick it
No,
forward,
he's
or handball
taking
over the
meters
top.
with his legs.
But yeah, they get on their bike and they get moving.
And Melbourne and Collingwood have done that to us. They've done that to us. That's 2 weeks in a row where we've lost in a similar way. You know, in terms of like what the opposition did and what we couldn't stop.
Yeah.
Like that goal, was it Pickett, his first goal in footy? How many meters of space was he in?
That was ridiculous.
could have run
and that
to the
was
goal
a massive
line.
momentum shifter in the game as well. Of course, the young kid on his debut kicking a goal is going to get the crowd going mental. All their players got a massive boost of energy from that. And you're right, he ran like 30 meters, took about 4
Unattended,
bounces.
no one near him.
No one came near him until he was about 20 meters out.
Yeah.
It wasn't good enough. But I got to say, this whole discussion in mind, my feelings this week are honestly very similar to last week. Everything we've talked about is true. I think we got a lot wrong, most of all bringing Naz off in the last quarter. But again, and maybe you guys give me a pushback if you disagree, but I genuinely just don't
Comments
think
will
we're
do
that
that.
far off of it. I just genuinely don't think we're that far off of it. I think we could come out and beat the Giants this week. I'm so disappointed that we're 0-2. We're making fundamental errors, dropping marks in the forward line. We still took 20 marks inside 50. When is the last time a Saints side has done that? That's pretty impressive. Our scoring efficiency is diabolical. That's the biggest thing that needs to improve. But again, I think these are things that can change. Hopefully, bringing Marshall back into the side fixes things, but I'm not sure we're that far off it.
Yeah.
I
do see where you're coming from. Like the last 2 weeks, I think we've won center clearances, contested ball, inside 50s, marks inside 50. Actually, the only damning stat was last week was 25 tackles inside 50. This week, 2.
Yeah, that is
No
4.
pressure at all from the smalls or the talls, none whatsoever. And Melbourne rebounded at will because of it. At least with Collingwood, we could lock it in for long portions of the game. We couldn't do that yesterday.
Yeah, and
the personnel was the same, really, apart from Marshall.
And just to add what you're saying, I think to be positive for a sec,
Yeah.
the way we're winning the footy, winning clearances, it is refreshing. It is an improvement from last year. People, you're hearing a lot of same old Saints, and we're going to get smashed in the media this week. Honestly, fair enough. We're 0-2, but there is improvements. Do you agree, Woody?
100%. Just look at inside 50s, right? Like we're averaging 58, I believe, over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That would have been good enough for first last year, the best side in the league. So I mean, there's clear, evident change that's happening. Whether all of them have been like ticks, question, right? Because I do think we've robbed Peter to pay Paul a little bit, right? Like we've taken some of our skills out of the back line, put it into the midfield, then we put it forward, right? And look, we're looking at Naz specifically here, but I think it's a bit across the board, right? Like I would like to see more of what we've seen, right? I think all of us would, but I think it's the balance between attack and defense that really feels off for me.
Yeah.
And I think while we've improved in leaps and bounds offensively, it has come at the detriment of our defensive structure.
Well, the last 2 weeks, you'd say if we could blend the sort of defensive structure we had against the Pies, because it was still difficult for them. Like they only kicked 78 points for the game, and you blend the attacking power we had yesterday. That's the perfect combination, but we're just not getting it in
just
one game.
Efficiency
We just
inside
can't
50
get it.
would be enough.
That's the biggest thing, 100%.
If we could just hit a player and get scoring shots per inside 50 up to a level that's above AFL average, we bloody beat most sides.
It doesn't help when you're dropping sodas, though. And
you're dropping sodas. How many players actually on the lead for us? We still kicked it on Higgins' head a few times.
Jack Higgins is not Max King.
If
you're going to kick it out to him, put it on his tit.
Yeah.
But some of it, he wants it on his head. Like, he's not leading.
And I got to say as well, Sinclair and Max Hole, if you have the ball on the run, straight in front of goal, that is a higher percentage shot than kicking it to Higgins in the pocket. Have the shot. And they're both more than capable.
When you're 40-45 out and you're running directly to goal, stop looking for a teammate that's 15 metres away.
The first Max Hole kicks to Higo. The second one, he says, stuff it, I'm going to launch it, and he kicks the goal.
Yeah, but wasn't there another? Was it Hall that took the mark, then handballed to Brad Hill, who ran past him, was immediately under pressure and it didn't make the distance? Like, it's just... And talking about composure and Jack Higgins for a second... That chance at the end where he kicked it, hit the post, and then had his chance again, and he rushed it, just like Ryan the week before, where they just rushed the kick, that important kick to put us within a kick of the game, to give us all the momentum, and they miss.
To be
I'm
fair,
just thinking that's just poor.
It does happen. We saw a similar on the other end where they hit the post. They asked, "Do you want to take a shot?" Which of course the player's going to try and take another shot, and then he hit the post again. Yeah, so I mean, it can happen to anybody.
It can happen, but. That's Melbourne's problem. I'm thinking. I'm looking at us. I don't give a shit what Melbourne do.
Fair.
Just because they do it doesn't mean we have to do it.
Yeah, and we obviously goes without saying we all love Higo, but I was disappointed in his game a lot yesterday because, like I said at the top, it felt like he was trying to be a rock star, and we know he's going to have his moments where he is a rock star, and that's great. Well, we'll cheer him on, but yesterday he did not pick his moments well. We needed him to be composed and just kick the fucking goal.
And it's disappointing because both of them, Ryan and Higgins, kicked the opening 2 goals of the game. Our small started strong.
Ryan kicked.
Ryan did, and then I swear Higo kicked an early one.
It was either second.
So I was like, great, our smalls are kind of getting into it quickly because they were quiet last week, and then they became quiet again. Ryan looked good early, but petered off, and then took that specky and finished the game. So it was kind of a bittersweet ending for his game, but. Yeah.
A conversation I really want to have is the TDK versus Gawn one. I just got to say, it was a great matchup for 3 quarters. Gawn obliterated him in the last, I thought. There was some damning vision of TDK again. Maybe he was sick, whatever it was, but he genuinely couldn't run with Gawn yesterday. And that, especially in that last, and it's like, it's tough with him because he's not the best ruckman in the competition yet. TDK, I would argue, Gawn is, but you're on obviously the contract. He's going to get the spotlight on him. That's where he needs to get to. That game that Gawn played yesterday, I thought Gawn was arguably the best player on the ground.
Definitely.
That's what TDK needs to aspire to be.
So TDK was on the ground for 76% of the last quarter, and Gawn was on for 100% of the last quarter.
From memory, he didn't get a tap out in that last quarter at all. Look,
didn't we have Owens at a centre bounce in a
Owens
crucial
had 2,
moment?
and I believe Owens and Keeler both had 2.
I've got in my notes, I said the things that cost us, the non-TDK ruck minutes. Yep. Anytime Keeler, or I think Keeler was getting smashed so bad they put Owens in, both of those times we got rolled in the middle.
TDK had 30 centre bounce attendances and Naz had 14. Yeah. So there's 16 times there where he's tapping it. And he's like, where's the star that I came to play with? Oh, he's not here.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the duo we want to see.
Yeah.
And they're never together.
Yep.
Disappointing.
Although I loved his tapped work to Hall, where he got it and then gave it to Hall, who snapped it from the boundary. That was beautiful.
Yeah. I really do think TDK had a really good game, but that last quarter, that's where you need
he's
to
the
be.
man.
The thing is, you could, for me, because I wasn't at the match, I'm getting a lot of the commentators giving me stats in real time where it was difficult to get them yesterday. But they were starting to mention it early in the third. They were starting to say, well, TDK is not quite getting on top of the contests as well as he was. Max Gawn is starting to make that sort of pushback that he needed to make sure Melbourne get over the line. And, I could start feeling it by halfway through the third. It was clear something was wrong. TDK couldn't mark with Gawn. He couldn't stop the marks. He couldn't get the hit outs. It was just not working. And I guess that sort of comes down to the question again of coaching and selection and what we do behind the scenes. Because if we are walking into the game with prior knowledge that TDK has done a fitness assessment, he might be have a case of the flu, why are we playing a part-time ruck as like our secondary ruck?
Completely agree.
Like, and as much as I don't think Dodson's particularly ready for like big matches of football,
Just do it.
5 players on the bench now. Give him 30% game time.
get rid of the guy that's getting 50% anyway and doing nothing with
Put
it.
Camera in the
McRae.
ruck.
Well, yeah.
Nah, we're not going there. We don't want to have that
No,
conversation.
but
We had Owens in the ruck.
Yeah. No, I
please
completely
play
agree.
Owens
though.
as a midfield. Like all these problems we've got with our list are just obvious to everyone else. Like, why are we playing Naz by himself in the forward line for half a bloody match? Nobody can answer that question. Why do we have TDK off the ground for half a bloody
over.
quarter in the final? Nobody can answer that question. I've been asking
Never
for
gonna
everybody's been
give
asking for
you-
years for Owens to play in the midfield. Nobody gives me a solid answer about why he shouldn't be, despite the fact he gets centre clearance every time he's in there as a bloody ruck. So I don't get it. I don't understand what they're doing.
All right. Should we do some voicemails?
I think
Should we
it's
get
time.
into the
Yeah,
emotions?
On that
There's-
note,
We've probably
it's
covered a
time.
lot of points, but there's a fair few here. we
Sorry,
need to
I
get
got a
through.
little bit off track.
No, I love
there.
that. Love that.
The passion.
Yep.
Jake is junk mail. Jake is junk mail. Jake is junk mail. Jake is junk mail.
The written.
Yeah.
Very well. Okay, this one is from Rosie. She's asking thoughts on our back six structure. If you'd change it, what would be the ideal back six? Good question. If you'd change it, so
we need
going
two
into
more
this week,
small defenders because we don't like have real small defenders.
Stocker O'Connell
Yeah, pretty
in,
much.
and who's out?
Taru should be a swingman, in my opinion.
Okay.
Give that 60% game time to him, 40% of it down back, 20% up forward. I'd be much happier with that structure. In terms of like other parts of our defense, I mean, it's not that different from last year, but we're playing an extra tall over a small. And I think it's pretty obvious it's not working.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You agree?
Yeah, I mean, I've said since the
you've
first
spoken
selection
about
that Stocker should be in over Carroll.
This one's from Spider. With the club lying about Max King's health and our losses, how can members trust our club again? Ari, would you like to answer this one?
I don't know.
Do you think the club's lied about
No,
King?
I don't.
You don't view it that way?
Not really.
Are you disappointed that it could be beyond round 10 again?
Of course.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be a Saints fan if you weren't disappointed
That's a trick
about
question.
it. But no, I think, like the club has been spent all of 2025 trying to figure out what was wrong with his body, and they've finally had a solution. But once they found it, he's already missed 18 months of footy. They need to have a plan. They're not going to know the plan of this is how it's going to go. He's going to come back this round. It's more complicated than that.
Yeah.
I also think I feel like we've been planning for life to just start working instead of like it continuing to not work. For me at this point, I would, and I say this not trying to be mean, but I honestly never expect another game from Max to be 100% real. And if I got one more
It's a
game,
huge call.
no, I
I see where he's coming.
realistically, I just don't.
It's been that long.
It's been 2 bloody years, and like it's probably going to be another half a year, if not another year. Like how long until we just say it's not going to work? And for me, I would be happy giving Max as much money as he's getting in his contract if he came out and played one more game in a grand final and got us like 6 goals. He could never play another game for us again and play in one grand final, kick 6, and I'd be happy.
I think a lot of people would agree.
I understand it, but you don't give up on players like Max King that easily.
No.
You don't give up, but
He's
like,
going to come back and he'll be
But I
ready to
think we
go.
need to. But I do agree. We need to be a little bit more aggressive with getting another genuine key tall.
I just think that's
just
why
need-
we've kept Marshall.
I know, but I think
Let's
going
talk
into,
about this after round 6 because I think you'll change your mind once you see Marshall in there.
No, I'm not against Marshall. I'm just saying. I think we still need.
I think we
someone
need that
else.
bona fide key forward, and Marshall is a great backup second forward, backup second ruck.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a backup to Max King.
Well, yeah, if Max gets on the park, but I don't know anymore.
Maybe we'll go get Ben King this offseason.
That'd be nice.
This is a good question from Steph. How does Sammy Flanders adapt to? Because we haven't even spoken about him yet. But Sam Flanders, how does he adapt to being in a less skilled midfield? Obviously, at the Suns, excluding last year, he was a ball pig. But was he also flattered by genuine A graders? How do you see his game evolving to step up the responsibility? It's a good question.
I think he's going to be one that's going to take a bit of time, and I know people are just going to hate hearing that, and fair enough, but that's just
He's at
genuinely what I
28
believe.
in his first 2 games.
He's played 2 solid games. He hasn't stood out. He's in a less skilled midfield, but he's not like the most polished midfielder out there.
He never was.
That's not why we brought him into the club. So we'll see. Once we can get some synergy and actually some repetition in that midfield, then I think he'll start to really get going.
Let's just get into the nitty gritty.
Let's do the voicemails.
Jeez,
It's
this
time.
is a fair. What's going on? These are from the 1960s or something. Far out. When were these made?
It's the best we've got.
Huh? This is like pillows
That's
here.
like your old high school headphones.
They are comfortable, I'll tell you that much. All right. Well,
Here we go.
there are. Ari's gonna love some of these.
There's going to be some
already.
shockers in
Okay,
there.
we've catered for the time. We've got plenty of time in the show. We're going early.
Yeah.
Let's do this. This is from Chad. Well, I think it's from Chad. Is he playing?
Boys, I think there needs to be a bit of a temperature check done. There's been so much external pressure on this football club and the playing group to perform in 2026. The composure was seriously off balance last night. The connection piece is still being built, and I think we look at someone like Wangani Malira, who's had so much hype on him as a kid, but also publicly it has been a whirlwind off-season for the Saints. And I think if we just really take a bit of a wider lens as to what this playing group can do going forward with a little bit of composure, just a little bit of time to build that connection, I think the ceiling is still extremely high, and I can't see why we can't put the wins on the board going into this season.
It's positive.
Yeah.
It's a good way to
No,
start.
I like it from Chad.
That's probably the last positive one to go for it.
I'll be real. I don't like if things don't work out in the next few weeks, we really have to temper some expectations. Because, like, if you're getting to round 6 or 7, and as some people have predicted us not even getting a bloody win, it's over.
If we get to round 7 and we're playing
We'll
West,
talk about that once we get
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
We're not
think-
winless
But,
like,
at
admittedly,
round 7
I
yet.
don't think that's going to happen.
Giants are
But
depleted.
It's time to pull the finger out because, like,
I say that.
I can't bloody keep doing this.
All right, let's keep going. 'Cause
Love it, Chad.
there's
He's a
few-
regular.
Michael's got a nice long one here for Harry. Get
Let's
ready.
go, Michael. I'm ready.
Been a St Kilda supporter my whole life, and the last however many years it's been, probably like 12 years since that core group of Hayes, Revolt, Balsano, etc., that core left, retired. It's been the same shit ever since. No skills. Without Max Hall, Melbourne played bad. They should have put us to the sword. We got kissed on the dick by the umpires. Our skills
Wow,
are
that's-
fucking atrocious. Sorry for the language.
That is a
Sharman,
graphic.
Taru and McRae, worst on ground. I thought TDK was good in the first half, but
God.
then Gawn got on top. Max Gawn, he's still pretty handy. Caminiti, I don't think was as bad as what everyone thinks. Hard when you got Silvani and Carroll and every other player butchering the ball up the ground and the ball slingshots back and they're hitting Van Roo and Lace out. So, I don't know why Naz isn't playing in the midfield. $2 million to fucking play full forward, and he wasn't bad at all. But you play your best player around the ball. I don't care if he's getting tagged. We want him there, and yeah, garbage. We are a laughing stock, as per. Sorry for the language, and yeah, woohoo.
Yeah,
I
that was a
understand
roller
the
coaster, that one.
frustration, but Michael, we're 2 games into the season. There's a long way to go.
All right,
If we finish in the bottom 4,
you're not just consoling Michael.
resend that
just
in.
so you know, there's a few
oh,
more.
there's more. Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
Mark from Perth. They need a vent.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's why we're here.
Hi, gents. Love the potty, but we need to get real. I'm sick of this freaking mediocrity that we get dished up year in, year out. Fake glimpses at the preseason of, talent and good passages of play, only to be fed this crap when the real season starts. What the hell are we doing? Where are we at? We're nowhere. Sinks, Wilkie, they look shadows of the 2025 version of themselves. What's Wilson doing? Who knows? He doesn't know. Carroll, down back, not sold. Caminiti just makes too many stupid errors week in, week out. Sharman, was he even playing? Not sure. Higo, hey, have a set shot, but take your bloody time. Why does he feel the need to rush the kicks? Anyway, that's my rant for this week. Fucking sort your shit out. Be real.
Feel it. I feel it. It's hard not to agree with a lot of these points.
Yeah.
Like you get, like, come on, we're all thinking a lot of things after the game. I know I was going into my review.
I didn't.
So-
I didn't do
we heard
anything.
about it in your review.
Oh, did you watch it? I thought it was a
Of
pretty
course,
good
I watch every
review.
review.
I think that's one of my best ones are when we lose. I hate that.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they're the most entertaining for all clubs.
100%.
I love the passion, but 2 games in, guys.
That's the last time you get to
2
say
games
that.
in. Well,
the
yeah,
last time
because
you get
next
to say
week
that.
we'll be 3 games in. So
We're
This
6
guy.
games in, guys. It's okay. Part of the process.
still mathematical
All right.
chance to make the wild card.
Let's go. Isaac Smith.
That's not the.
John player.
Boys, I'm really frustrated. I'm fuming. Just basic fundamental errors. Just Anyway, all I can say is you watch. This will be the most St Kilda thing ever. We'll win next week against the Giants. We'll have this comeback, and you're just gonna tell yourself. I'm trying to tell myself it's all for the doco. It's all for the documentary. The big turnaround's gonna be good
Marching
drama.
in 2.
I think that's my copium. That's my hope.
That was the best one yet.
Just
Love
called
it, Isaac.
Marching.
Yeah.
Curtis.
What was that? Like, honestly, Max Hall is the only bright spot I see. TDK got owned by Gorn, and where the hell was Wilkie's help back out back? Like, seriously, we need to. Our defense last year, yeah, I'll give credit to it, but this year, absolutely shocking.
Can't really disagree with any of that.
I think it's the same problems we've mentioned so far.
Yeah.
It's the people can see the issues.
This is Steve.
G'day, Jake. Look, I've been a Saints member for 23 years. I reckon with tickets and merch and membership, I've sunk tens of thousands of dollars into this club. And they just constantly disappoint. Like in the whole pre-season and off-season, they were talking about the new era and how it's going to be a new team and get excited. They got the NAS memberships. They got all of these people to sign up as members and break a record before the season started. And it's the same old shit. And they wonder why people don't turn up to games. Where's the incentive to leave being surrounded by opposition fans chanting, knock, knock, who's there? 0-2. I mean, next legitimate win could be against West Coast, and we couldn't even beat them last year. Rant over.
Steve, you're going to be disappointed. The podcast title is called 0-2.
Oh, is it?
So it's too good not to do that.
fair.
Like, I just feel like it has to be done.
Yeah, that's fair.
I really don't like this Owen guy. I'm bloody over him. If we have to hear like Owen bloody drums at the next bloody home match, I'm going to lose my mind.
All right, we've got only 2 or 3 more. Let's go to Daryl. How you liking these, Ari?
Oh, yep. Just keep them coming.
G'day, boys. For the first time in a bit over 3 years, I think we have a coaching problem. 2 weeks in a row, we had enough football to win those games. Then we were let down by a lack of poise, decision-making and structure in front of the ball. It was clear today that we needed a marking target up forward, like they had in Van Ruin. You've got 2 blokes in the back line, Caminiti and Toru, who can take a mark, and there were no moves. It was atrophy. And we got what we deserved. And I think it's time that Ross needs to probably strip away some of the smart-ass stuff we hear on the TV and tell us the truth about what's going on, because this is just not good enough. We have players, but they're making fundamental errors, and then they don't seem to know what to do with the ball when they get it. What are your thoughts?
Totally agree.
I like that
I do
one.
agree with that one.
Although I would say he says it's a coaching error, and then proceeds to talk about how we don't have like the poise and all
which
that. And
coaches
said,
can't control on
that's
field.
on the players. I understand where he's coming from, and to what he's saying about Ross and some of the smart ass stuff we see in the press conferences. We were just talking about this before. I got to say, he's been doing this for the last 3 years. He's been doing this for his whole coaching career, to be honest. I'm frustrated about it right now because we're 0-2 and we're not getting many answers from him. But he doesn't go into his press conferences wanting to answer questions to the media. He wants to go in and waste time so that he doesn't have to answer anything. And some fans will hate that, but it's because he doesn't want to tell the media what we're up to.
But in turn, that means the fans don't know shit.
Exactly.
Well, that's true.
So, and I'm not saying he's
'Cause
right
where
or
else do
wrong
we
for this.
get
I'm just saying
real
I just
info?
think that's what's going on, and he's going to
Do
continue.
we ever get
doing-
real info like
We-
at any point?
We won't. And like this is going on. This has been a part of Ross's MO since 2008 or whatever. Because he's had. I specifically remember the St Kilda bubble in 2008 starting.
There's a book about it.
Yep.
It's in
And
the shelf somewhere.
we've got it somewhere
maybe
here.
not.
But yeah, no.
Read a chapter.
And the idea behind it was that, hey, the outside noise is bloody annoying. It's screwing up our mentality. We're not telling him shit. We're not going to give him anything. When they ask questions, they're going to get circles. And, I mean, that's been his MO ever since he started
It's
doing
an
that.
easy way to have fans jump offside, though, isn't it? After a loss, because we're like, what's the problem? Why didn't he play? Why is he playing 50% game time? Is he ill? Is he injured? And then we don't know anything. So we're all just sitting here sort of regurgitating all these questions and then coming up with assumptions. And we all know that's dangerous because you're just kind of filling in the gaps on your own without
The thing is, that's
any
gonna,
real
and you're
information.
right, that's going to happen when you don't give the public straight answers.
No. But we're
And-
not asking for it all the time. Just
Well, I mean,
there's a couple of like some journos ask shit questions and you're like, yeah, fair enough, take the piss. But then there's some that ask like questions that I would be asking.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I
right.
want to hear the actual answer, mate. And then
Yeah.
you say, oh, is that what we're going to focus on? Like that's what he said yesterday when it was about Naz. Oh, is
And
that
it's
what you
that's
is that what you
we're
want
all
to
sitting
know?
here talking about?
It's like-
we are all
that's what the
curious
fans
why
wanna
that
know, mate.
happened.
yeah, and also like it comes even like King. Like I remember him being like, "Oh, we've seen like King's had it's been updated on the website from calf to calf and knee," and he's like,
And he said it was a
"Oh, okay,
mistake.
Yeah, well, I don't know anything.
He said it was a
about that."
typo.
And it's like, "Oh, all right. Well, you just don't know anything then, because like,
Yeah.
how does this happen?"
All right, let's get through two more.
Yep.
They're short and we're done. Jack.
Yeah, hey boys, how you going? I'm not really sure what everyone's talking about, to be honest. I thought the last couple of weeks we've played really well, actually. Who am I kidding? Nah, we've been shit. I just
was
used
wondering
Almost
where
got
it was
me there,
going with
mate.
that.
being
Yep.
a Saints supporter. But well, a lot will be made of the last 2 weeks. I wanted to ask about the VFL. Like, I miss Hunter Clark. I want to see how Charlie Banfield's developing, but
Banfield.
I just hear nothing from the club about the VFL. Like, it's our first year. What's going on? Do you guys have any insights?
No,
Thanks.
What's this
Um,
guy's name? Jack.
Jack.
Jack, you are spot on. I'm trying to see what's going on in these VFL practice games. It's not covered anywhere. And Hunter Clark, to be fair, isn't playing, so that's what's going on with him.
3 week
He's
hamstring.
injured.
But they played a pracky.
yeah.
They got pumped
Yeah,
on the
against
weekend again.
Casey. And
Yeah.
we just saw like one Instagram post. The boys have battled
But they
on
didn't say
against Casey.
scores, didn't say who played well.
Don't know anything that's going on. So I completely agree.
I am chatting to Goddard this week,
Oh, yeah.
so
Very good.
we'll
Well, he
hopefully
can
get
tell
some
us what's going on.
get some clarity ahead of their official
Hopefully
game
he
on the
hasn't
weekend.
learnt Rossi's circle talking tactics.
Nah,
We'll get nothing.
I'll get all the proper
He's on with
questions
the
in.
fans.
And lucky last, Liam. Hopefully on a high note, huh?
Hopefully.
What in the actual Zach fucking Dawson was that? It's frustrating this morning listening to that Dangleberry Kane Corns going on about how Naz took himself off at the end of the game. It was pretty clear he didn't watch the end of the game because Naz didn't take himself off. He seemed furious that he was taken off. And Kingy did have a good point about Max Hall not going to enough centre bounces.
Yep.
Hopefully we start sending him there more because, like you said, he's our second best player behind Naz. On a lighter note, maybe to cheer everyone up, we get another solo song or even a duet with Ari.
You're in, mate. What, like, actually, just to get to
I don't know
the
who
point
they
in
want
question,
to duet with Ari, but it's not me.
if he did a duet, what would the song be?
I still want you to do the Nick Rewalt a cappella, Woody.
No, that's like 7 different. There's dudes like.
Yeah, there's 5 blokes in here. Everyone can.
Yeah, we could easily do it.
No chance. I don't know. If we're doing another song, like, I don't know, call some like mental health hotline, like, because I need it.
If we win, we're all singing a tune next week.
Man, if we win a grand final, I'll sing a tune.
Okay.
I'm not
If we win
singing
the
a
next
tune if we
2,
win.
I don't know about 1 win.
All right, 2. If we
2 is not enough. What are you guys
No,
talking
we
about?
beat the
I've done this once.
Beat the
I don't want
Giants
to do this
away.
again.
Beat the Giants away in the reigning Premier. I'll sing a song.
We're back at that point.
You can do that. You can do that.
Footy
not me.
changes very quickly, boys. So that was the last one.
I feel like the club now that Ari has said he will sing if we win 2 in a row needs to get it done. Come on,
Yeah,
lads.
2 in a row.
Yeah.
Bang.
Yep. That's junk mail for another week.
I win either way.
Thanks, everyone, for sending that
this
in.
Way.
We need the win.
I win either way because I either sing a song or.
Yeah. Well, preview time.
Let's do it. Giants away
I
Saturday.
won't be able to watch it,
4
which is really
o'clock.
disappointing.
What's going on?
I'm at a wedding.
That'll
So-
get you.
Does
I'm
that really
thinking-
take precedence? Or?
Sorry?
No, don't worry.
I'll get the mobile out. Don't worry.
exactly.
I'd love to jump out on the D floor and then check the score, see we win, and then run outside after a few champagnes and do a
That'd be
review.
a good celebration.
Jump into someone's car and do a review.
Just a random
Just a
car.
rando car. I'm
Get
like,
in the
you
limo
don't
before they
understand.
drive
I
off.
need to be in the car to do this. I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
do this
yeah.
anywhere else. So that'll be interesting. So maybe I'll try and organise a potential post-game live show with a bunch of the Saints TV crew and see if people want to jump on and
Yeah, get the
fill in the
bride and
gap.
groom in there.
get the team's crew, something like that. We'll see if people are available. But
Yep.
knowing me, I'll miss the game and we'll get up by 10 goals.
Well,
just
we'll
feeling
take it then.
I'll absolutely take that.
Yeah, I'll be watching from Tassie this week actually. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
Keen
be
for
up in
that.
the country. It'll be nice.
Yeah, everyone's everywhere.
so let's talk about the actual game.
Yeah, right.
So they got pumped.
They did
They got pumped by the Dogs, who look ominous.
after a pretty strong opening round
Yeah.
outing.
Yep.
Clayton Oliver played well in that first one. Seemed to fade away a little bit, and in this most recent game, Finn Callahan's looking the goods.
Really good.
It'll be interesting. What are you looking out for, Woody?
I'm praying either Laverde or Himmelberg got a concussion in that last clash that they had because, I mean, they're not world-beating defenders, but like if they can be without Sam Taylor and an extra backup defender, that'd do us.
I don't. That
Bloody
sounds like
brilliant.
opening round all over again.
Yeah,
No
well, let's
how,
not
no
talk
more.
about that. Let's just not. But like otherwise, I'm buoyed by like lack of superstars that they normally have.
So-
Hopefully, our team has stopped being stupid and we get the win.
We've got them at a good time at the very least. We may have Brisbane at a good time as well after.
That's true.
So that puts Ari's 2-2 prediction in good
No
stead.
Harris Andrews, potentially no Huma Cluggage.
Yeah, I'm hoping Ryan can get up. I don't
Yeah.
know how his shoulder is, and obviously Filippo, we don't know the diagnosis.
Well, both
Yeah, but it
corkies
didn't look-
apparently.
Okay, so
There
you
is
think
no way that was a corky to Ryan.
Oh, well, if it isn't, Ross
Looks
has
like
got
it-
some serious
did
questions
dislocate
to
his
answer.
shoulder?
Because Ross had a go at a reporter for insinuating that he wasn't telling the truth about
All
that.
right,
and
we'll
we
see.
beve Ross.
You'll see tomorrow night when
I'm not saying I believe him. I'm just saying they'll have the
just-
questions.
we'll see the
So-
injury report
yeah.
tomorrow night when it comes out, and then the other one is obviously Marshall will be back, which will be handy because I think
Yeah.
TDK absolutely needs that support.
I mean, yeah, that'll
And
be.
Keeler will be out.
I honestly don't know if we make many changes. Like, obviously, that Marshall comes in for Keeler, and then
And then it'll be one of Filippo, Ryan will miss. I can feel it.
yeah, putting that aside for a sec,
Ah.
let's just pretend they're both healthy. Are
Carroll,
you making other
Stocker.
changes? Carroll for Stocker, you're pulling the trigger on
Yep.
that because I want that change, but I just feel like you've made the choice. You sort of got to stick with it for a bit until you just.
I'm
going to
admit, Carroll turned it over that little dinky 15 that he missed that cost us a
Yeah,
goal.
that was like one of his own
But
ones.
no,
as
I was
well.
going to say that's what I wanted
Yeah,
to
he's
say.
been fine.
He actually hit a few decent kicks into the
Yeah.
middle of the ground. I was like, okay, that's kind of like the missing link that we've had. You know, when Jimmy Webster had the ball,
Yeah.
nice left foot peg. Sometimes he bites off more than he can chew, but with more game time, I can see him developing.
Yeah.
But you can't keep Stocker out this long, can you?
But also, like, and I agree with you. He's performing well, but we just don't have a need for him in the team
But
right
yeah,
now.
it's a nice to have right now.
Yeah.
But and especially when you've got Sinks and Naz playing down there at times, and then you've got who else goes down? there?
Brad
Brad Hill
Hill.
goes down there a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
ton of them.
and even Windy,
Windy,
going down
yeah.
there. So you've got 3 or 4 other players that can rotate midfield as well. I'd rather just focus on that than adding a player that can only play one position.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's one we've
So-
already kind of
and
got
we've already-
stocked as well.
Yeah. I think
It's odd.
for a game against the Giants with Stringer and that, I think Stocker
Mm.
is the perfect matchup
Yeah.
for some of these smalls that they've got.
I'd go. Obviously, we can't get Liam O'Connell in yet, but
No.
I'd drop Carroll and McRae. I'd be looking at Stocker
And
Not
debut
s-
Banfield.
Yeah, not sure who I'd bring in, but like I'm not happy with what I'm seeing from McRae. I'm not happy with what I'm seeing.
I mean, I think that the genuine
Carroll.
options, if you're going to drop McRae, you've got Dan Butler, you've got Charlie Banfield, and then from there, I'm not sure there's many other players who would really come for that spot. Like the ones that would are probably injured, like Hunter Clark,
Yeah.
Liam Henry, Paddy Dow,
Mm.
maybe Travalia, but I can't see us bringing him
No.
into the side.
Banfield
Um,
could be a smoky.
Potentially,
He's performed really well in preseason. He
And we-
looks.
We haven't looked great on field.
But it just
No.
how many of those players are we going to have in the side, like Boxall, Garcia? Like, it feels like again that role is already being filled. I just don't know if
Yeah.
we need that right.
Yeah.
I
get what
again,
you mean.
I don't know, but I don't know that we're getting anything out of McRae, to be real. And I don't think
Yeah, I
we're
agree,
getting
but I'm
much
saying
out of Carroll.
Do we
either.
need another midfielder in the side?
Well, I don't know if I'd lean towards a midfield. I'd go double defender.
Unless
Like,
you
small
just
defender.
you're just basically replacing McRae with Hall. So you're kind of upgrading
Yeah.
internally,
And then maybe put
you're
Dan
not
Butler
bringing
in
in
the
a
side.
yeah or a Collard, like someone that
Yeah.
can just chase and hold that ball in.
Yeah, exactly.
Add some pressure. If Ryan misses, Butler or Collard opens the door.
Yeah.
No problem.
It's hard to know if Butler is in any good form though. 'Cause
No,
we
but
don't know.
look,
but
Even
yeah.
Collard.
Collard looks
like
has got a lot of talent. We know that, and I think he needs minutes as well. So
there's games where Collard looks like he's got everything, and games where he's just not there. So I'd like to give him.
He
some
was
more
getting
shots.
picked in the preseason games, so
Yeah.
coaches seem to like what they're seeing there.
yeah.
Yeah. Anything else we're looking out for?
Well, it's just defense. We cannot get into a shootout with the Giants, even with the players they got missing.
Yeah.
They've still got
Jesse Hogan.
Jesse Hogan, who is
We cannot
great
let
footballer.
our defensive line get too far up the ground.
No, well-
it's killing us every week.
yeah. They've got the Orange Tsunami. They run through the middle. They handball. Their game plan at their best is exactly what has exploited us in the
Yep.
last 2 weeks, particularly yesterday. So if Melbourne can do it to us with the talent the Giants got, even with players missing, we know that those teams can miss 4 or 5 players, and they're bringing in top draft picks anyway, and they're playing them. So it doesn't make a difference too much.
Yeah.
We just can't play open football against them, I don't think.
Yeah. People will be talking about it. I've already given my opinion. I don't think you drop Caminiti. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish that there was official VFL games already to gauge Dukes on.
Yeah,
'cause it's hard to
exactly.
just throw him into the deep end in an away game against some top forwards that they've got.
Yeah.
And then you've got Brisbane the next week, so it's not like bringing him in that week is going to be any easier. But I don't know. Ross tends to give players a week to respond, and he even said in his presser, like, well, he kept Van Rooyen to 1 goal after half time,
Yeah.
justified not making them change on the magnets. So
Yeah.
I have a
Yeah.
feeling he'll keep the same tools in the back line. I just have a feeling.
I
Agreed.
agree, and
Like
and
Taru will play.
I'd like some
Caminiti.
change. I don't think, to be honest, I don't think it's Caminiti. I think Taru needs to be moved, but yeah.
I don't understand what's going on with the Taru talk. I feel like he was really good yesterday.
Defensively, he's okay, but in the air, defensively, he's okay. He offers next to nothing on ground. His
Attack on the footy is unbelievable, though.
Mm.
Like, I can't see how
He can't keep
he's
up
not
with
good on
small
the ground.
forwards. He's just like
Is he really built to be playing on a small forward?
He's not,
though?
but that's
Yeah.
why do we have four key defenders?
Yeah,
now? Like, that's
I
the
think
problem.
I think we need to go because when we played at our best and we made finals, it was Dukes, it was Wilkie, and it was Battle.
Mm.
Those were the 3.
Yep.
Now we've got a 4th in that mix, and also we're missing experience. And I think we need to go back to that fullback, that rebound or that intercept, which is Silvani. It's not Taru because we got Silvani on big money. He's the one that needs to do it. And then you've got Wilkie playing between the two, where it's sometimes he's locking down, and then other times he can run off and support one of the other two.
Mm.
But then you've got Taru doing it, and I feel like there's no coincidence that individually they look good, but collectively, it's the first time we've ever done it where we've played 4 talls in the back line. I would rather play 4 talls ahead of the vault
Yeah.
in the forward line where we can actually take a mark.
I mean, we're already not like doing.
We're playing
much.
2 mediums as our full forwards.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'd rather take one and put it up the other end.
Yeah. Well, they don't all need to be on the ground at the same time.
No,
Like,
and
we
it's
can,
very rare that they are
yeah.
anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, something can be done there. But,
Yeah.
I mean, we just cannot go 0-3. We just cannot be
Well,
0-3.
when was the last time we were? That's a fun stat. Last time we were 0-2 was
2016?
18, I think. Alan Richardson.
No, we won the first game that year against
2016,
Brisbane.
2017, 16.
Maybe. I don't
Yeah,
know.
well-
It's been a while. Anyway, but the stats are not good on teams that start seasons 0-2,
No.
much less 0-3. So,
Sydney
and
were
I
0
think
5 last year.
that's true. That the 0-2, I guess, it's scaring people even more than it would in itself because of who we've got coming up.
Yeah, the next
We've got
4.
Giants away, Brisbane,
Brisbane.
the reigning premier, then a bye, then 2 weeks in a row in Adelaide.
And we struggle there anyway,
I think
regardless.
If we want to be serious this year, you have to win 3 out of the next 4.
We
I
have
agree.
to.
You got to be 3-3 after
and
round
then go
6.
into West Coast and you go
Yeah.
into the positive in the ledger, 4-3, and then the season opens up. And we know our back end, it's like 11 of the net last 12
Yeah.
are in Victoria.
And
So you need to be in the 8 at that point.
I'd say if you were like to rank the difficulty of these next 4, Adelaide's going to be the toughest, then
Yeah.
Brisbane, then Giants, then Port.
Yeah.
So this is supposedly the second easiest of our next 4 games. You have to win. You just have to win this week.
And the last 2 times we've played the Giants, it's been very exciting, and both games have been very even. It was the Darcy Wilson legacy game last year. And then I think before that was in Canberra, and we lost by a point when we rallied very
stole
late,
the
nearly
show.
stole it.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
I think we match up pretty well against them, surprisingly, and we generally lift against them. We
And
play well against
I'll
them.
tell you what, 2023, when we played them in the elimination
Yeah.
final, the thing that lost us that game was the midfield.
Yes.
And I think the tables have turned a little bit. They're missing a lot of key personnel in there, most notably Tom Green, and we've significantly improved in that area. I want to see us dominate the midfield battle, especially TDK. Get to work, put Naz in there, put Max Hall in there, and let's dominate from clearance.
Yeah, just start with Windy, Hall, Naz,
Yeah.
TDK.
We
That's
haven't
the
mentioned
first
Windy all
bounce.
day. He actually played very well on the
He did.
weekend. He was one of our best.
Yeah.
He's got a nice role along halfback, coming into the midfield a little bit. Played well on Cozzy yesterday.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
had to throw that in
Apart
there.
from the one little goal at the end.
Yeah, there's a couple moments he could have done a little better, but he did
Yeah.
most
I
things.
mean, that's the whole team.
Yeah.
Lift, boys. The pressure's on.
We need that 5%.
We
more.
we're gonna cop it this week, obviously. But if we win next week away from home, under pressure, I think things
At
can
least
turn
just
very quickly.
shut up the journalists for a little bit.
How's Damo today? You interviewed Ross, mate, 2-3 weeks ago. Didn't ask him a hard question. Didn't press him on anything. You were eating up everything he said, every word he said. And now behind the scenes in a little keyboard in your little lair, you start writing all these stupid articles because he lost 2 games.
But also, he's talking
Ask
about,
him to his face.
But Damo's talking about, the club built itself up to be. We did a bit of that. That's 90% the media talking us up. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Also-
Woody didn't talk us up.
Well,
what
I mean,
are you meant to do?
Woody's not the club.
Exactly that. But also, like,
No?
if you've got a bunch of people coming in and you're just meant to be like, oh, we just spent all our free money. Oh, no. What are we going to do?
It's mainly, right now, it's all the Carlton fans online just hate watching.
Yeah, go for it.
that's
You
true,
guys
yeah.
shouldn't have even beat Richmond. So
I know, you can thank Tom Lynch.
That
for
was
those points
so
in that
lucky.
game.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Tom
my
Lynch
lord.
kicking 7 points away from being 0-2 and losing to
Alright,
Richmond.
let's it's a bit rich of us saying that.
Yeah, no,
I'd
we
take
can't
the 4
talk too
points any
much.
day. But this time next week, hopefully we're celebrating.
I hope so.
I'll do my review just for people. I'll do my review the next day. I'll watch the game in full and it'll be up delayed, but we'll try and do something Saturday post game anyway. So jump on the channel and have a chat. Hopefully everyone's going to be celebrating.
Hopefully.
That'd be nice.
Beautiful. Up the Sainers. Talk next week.
See you next week. Go
Go
Saints.
Saints.